Hi, in this video I hope to help you understand a little bit better about how your hormones relate to your body. And to achieve that, I'm going to use a juicy analogy which I've just come up with, which is relating to climate change. Bear with me and trust people. Okay, so imagine that your body is like a little tiny Earth and your hormones are like the atmosphere. Now, the ways that we impact the Earth will affect the atmosphere, and equally the health of the atmosphere will impact the health of the Earth. But these effects present themselves in quite a slow and insidious kind of way. They result in big changes, but these changes escalate quietly and stealthily over quite a long period of time. Now, the way that I see this is that it's quite illustrative of the way that our body and our female hormones interrelate. Admittedly, this isn't the case for all of our hormones. Some of our hormones are pretty reactive, like cortisol, for example, which is released in response to stress triggers, or ghrelin, which manages your level of hunger. So depending on the fuel intake you've had, or even things like the amount of sleep you've had, your ghrelin will kick in, requesting more fuel for your body. But as an analogy, this focuses more on the hormones which happen in natural cycles and rhythms over time. So if we were all to stop, as a species, to stop polluting and pillaging the Earth right away, the atmosphere would gradually recover and the planet would eventually recover its ecosystems and restore itself to a healthy balance. Now, the same is true of our body and our hormones. My name's Beth Palmer-Wright and I am a hormone health coach, and in this video I want to share with you how I support women with their hormone health and why that's so important. When it comes to our bodies, the kind of polluting and pillaging that relates to our analogy includes things like processed food, inadequate nutrition, mental pollution like unmanageable stress, and endocrine disruptors in our environment and in the products that we use. In all of these cases, it's our hormones or our teeny-weeny planet's atmosphere which bears the brunt of the damage. And this then feeds into the overall long-term health of our body. As women, it's actually our hormone health that is the primary indicator of our overall health. Now, a large part of my passion is helping women to see that the issues that they're having with their menstrual cycle is actually an important cry for help from their body. Menstrual issues like PMS and PMDD, PCOS, endo, and less severe issues like cramps or sore boobs, acne, fatigue, these are all messages and feedback from your body, really important feedback about what isn't working and what dis-ease is present within the system. When I help women, it's to help them to translate these messages and to learn to understand and fulfill the needs of their body. And because of the nature of these hormones being like that little atmosphere, to heal them both requires and creates healing in the rest of the tiny mini planet that is you, which translates into a massive level up of your health and wellness in so many unexpected and delightful ways. See, what happens is if you ignore these important messages from your body about the state of your health, what tends to happen is that these messages increase in volume and voraciousness. Other chronic health conditions present themselves over time. The messages get louder so that you simply can't ignore them. Some people, and this makes me super sad, simply roll with this and look more and more to pharmaceutical ways to manage their ever-expanding list of chronic health conditions. Then they give it a label, and that label is old age. I see this too often, alarmingly young individuals in their 40s and their 50s on long-term prescriptions for various health conditions which could have been managed or alleviated through making healthier choices and better education. Am I saying this is true in every case and for every condition? Of course not. But it certainly plays a role more often than sits comfortably with me. For me personally, now that I'm on a trajectory of good health, I literally can't imagine myself living in any other way. The benefits of good health are just too glorious. Literally every day I'm grateful for my amazing health, and that's all come from focusing on balancing my hormones. because this tiny planet right here, approaching 40, is healthier than it's ever been. See, that hasn't always been the case. If I look at myself 10 years ago when I was approaching 30, I looked very similar in terms of size and weight. I was even running marathons back then, but my overall health was poor. What do I mean by that? Well, primarily my gut health was poor. I often suffered with constipation, with bloating. My blood sugar levels were constantly out of balance. I was always craving sugar. My microbiome was in dysbiosis, and I was using unhealthy coping mechanisms like what I would call binge drinking at the weekends, and that was affecting my liver's ability to detoxify myself. And all of these things had a knock-on effect on my overall health, emotional resiliency, and my hormone health. My PMDD was bad, and it was worsening year on year. If I compare my life now to my life then, I can really only feel immense gratitude. These health issues that I've described here from 10 years ago me illustrate nicely the need for the first of the pillars of my support framework, and that is to support your body. When we support our body in the right ways, we are encouraging optimum hormone function. So how we produce, use, process, and eliminate the hormones in our system all play a really key part in how our hormones function just generally. Sadly, many of us have never fully understood how to support our bodies for optimum health and for hormone function, and we simply don't have the education necessary to understand how our hormones actually work. So, for example, if you struggle to eliminate waste daily, as I did many years ago, this is going to have a massive impact on your hormones. So if hormones are queued for elimination in the colon, but they don't get excreted in time, then they will be reabsorbed by the body, which, as you can imagine, causes havoc with the balance of the hormones that are present in the system. Equally, if your liver doesn't have all the nutrients that it needs to perform its role effectively, or the toxic load is just too big, it won't be able to effectively package up these used hormones for excretion, and again, they're just going to continue circulating in your system and causing all kinds of havoc. So there's many systems within the body which are key in supporting hormone function, but also supporting our brain health and our emotional resiliency. So the gut-brain axis is a really key component here. Do you know that most of the serotonin in your system, that's your happy hormone, is actually made inside the gut? Surprising, huh? I mean, I could literally talk for hours on this, but the key things that you need to know here is that it's vital to support your body for good hormone health if you want to have the experience of having balanced hormones and alleviating your menstrual cycle problems. Now, the second pillar of my framework is building self-attunement. And this is all about really hearing and knowing your body and yourself in all different kinds of ways. So it's about learning to tune into that arguably subtle voice inside of you, which has all of the wisdom that you need to live a life filled with good health and optimum well-being, as well as fulfilling your journey of evolving into the person you were always destined to become. By the end of our time together, I like for my clients to be on their way to mastering self-attunement in the guises of intuitive eating, nervous system regulation, using their triggers to catapult their personal growth to new levels, understanding their needs on the fly and learning how to meet them within their life as it exists in the present. And the third and final pillar of my framework is cycle integration. Too many of our hormonal problems come from the highly effective cultural indoctrination that we should perform the same way each and every 24-hour period. So what this does is it has us explicitly ignoring our inbuilt cyclical nature as women. Yes, all humans are cyclical in nature. We all cycle on a 24-hour basis, which is determined by the spinning of the planet on its axis and our circadian rhythm, which falls in line with that spinning. And in our patriarchal system, this has become the only cycle which is accepted and respected by society. But as women, our monthly menstrual cycle is just as important and also introduces a rhythm of changing needs throughout the month. So by learning more about how these work for us as individuals and committing to honouring the needs of our cycle as a priority, we can also find that our menstrual cycle issues and conditions diminish in line with this. So my ultimate goal when I'm working with a woman is providing the guidance and support that she needs to be able to make these sometimes challenging changes in her life, to not only alleviate her hormonal problems, which are plaguing her month in and month out, but also to elevate her health and wellness to new and often unexpected levels. So I do this by offering coaching, either one-to-one or in small groups. The groups can actually often bring a benefit themselves as an additional support network of sisterhood who are all journeying through similar terrain. Now, if these options don't feel right for you, then I also offer a self-paced e-course, which you can work through in your own time. And on top of all of that, I can also order detailed hormone assessment for you. So this is a Dutch test, which can help us to super focus your healing protocol and really speed up your healing journey. If this is something you're interested to hear more about, then give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at PMS Freedom, and I'll link to my website in the description below. As ever, I want to say thanks to you guys for watching and for making this investment of time in your own health. And I'll see you again soon.